The earliest known English poem is a hymn on the creation. St. Bede says this was by Caedmon. He was, according to legend, an illiterate herdsman who produced poetry at a monastery, Whitby. Poetry gives rhythm to silence, light to darkness. In poetry, we find the magic of metaphors, compactness of expression, use the five senses, and simplicity or complexity of meaning in just a few lines. I welcome you all to Metanoia by the Verses by Graffiti, the literary club of Dayanand Sagar University. Before we embark on this eventful poetic journey of drama, feelings, and words, I call upon Professor Divya to introduce our esteemed judges for the day.
A very good afternoon to one and all present here. I'm Divya, Assistant Professor, Department of Science and Humanities, Dayanand Sagar University. Every thought you produce, anything you say, any action you do, it bears your signature. At this glorious literary noontime, I'm extremely delighted to give a warm welcome to each and everyone present here. It's my great honor to introduce and welcome our judge, Dr. Pauline Ma'am. She is an assistant professor in Christu Jain College, Bangalore. She has a decade of teaching experience. Her areas of interest in literature are diaspora and post-colonial literature. She has 5 journal publications to her credit. She is an avid reader and also interested in artwork. Today, we are privileged to have her in this event. On behalf of all gathered here, I welcome you, madam, to this literary noon.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, madam. The next dignitary judge to be honored is none other than Dr. P.C. Deshmukh, sir, the Emerite Professor and Dean of Science and Humanities, Dayanand Sagar University, and also mentor and convener for the Center of Atomic and Molecular and Optical Science and Technologies, IIT Tirupati, and IISER Tirupati, and adjunct professor at IIT Tirupati, IIT Madras, and IISER Tirupati. He has more than 4 decades of working experience in the field of teaching and research. He has more than 325 publications to his credit. Being the man of distinct vision and a foundation of illuminating ideas, he can be glorified as an idol of knowledge. As a veteran in his career, he has been an inspiration to many young birds. On behalf of everyone present here, I deemed it a great privilege to welcome you, sir, to this wonderful event.
Thank you, Divya.
Thank you, sir. I'm very glad to welcome my colleagues, student coordinators of this wonderful event, and participants. I gladly wish all the best to all the participants. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Without further ado, let's start today's events. The first participant up is Raya Harika. Raya, are you present?
Yes, I'm there.
Yeah. Shrishti will be sharing her screen and your poem will be shown on the screen. You have to just switch on your camera and recite your poem. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm Rai Harika, CSC First Sem AIML. So here I'm going to present my poem today. The last one. The war has ended, leaving the two sides in brutal massacre. Except one. He won, so did the principles he trusted. But there's no one left to heed. I have won, we succeeded, was the line that ran in his mind. But all futile, 'cause there's left none to heed. That moment, he commenced celebrating for the first time. He commenced squaring himself. People told him that if he doesn't fight now, they will die. People told him that if he win now, they will have golden future ahead. People told him that if he is martyred in the war, he will reach good heavens. But what happened after winning the war? What is left of this carnage for us? A burial shroud on the table, a bluish smile, torn and tormented. For not having the opportunity to correct his mistake knowingly, repentance does not make atonement for his sin. He stood in the war zone alone, with zero celebrations in his mind and with a vacuous heart. Meanwhile, once his gun exploded, mankind is doomed. Completed.
Thank you.
Thank you, Raya. I would
Thanks,
like the
Raj.
judges to please say anything if they have something to say.
This poem which I've written is just in. I had only one thing in mind when I was writing this poem. Just the last person of this mankind. How would he feel when he's dying? That is what I felt. That is what I want to say.
Judges, you can please share your thoughts about this poem.
Interesting idea. Congratulations, Raya, for putting it so nicely. It certainly was a beautiful poem, and
Thank you so much, sir.
certainly appreciate your imagination to put yourself in that situation, in that hypothetical situation. Very well said. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, sir.
Congratulations, Raya. It was really amazing. It was a wonderful performance. I really enjoyed listening to you, and also I read your poem. It was really great.
Thank
Congratulations.
you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you, judges. We'll move on to our second participant, Shubhashri P. Are you present?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, you can, once Srishti shares her screen, you can please start.
Yeah, can I begin? Hello,
Yeah,
everyone.
please.
I'm Shubhashri P. I'm in second year of engineering, and the theme is New Morning. And here I begin. Waking up to this new morning, the blue zephyr touched my cheeks. That instant glow, I stood welcoming to pour its love along with sneaks. The sun, the star, the burning fireball bringing prosperity to the one who believes in it. The day blossom, the fragrance, striking its elegance for a new beginning. The golden glare, I stand and stare. Vitamin D I now bear. It cured the sick. It's a magical trick. The soothing chirp changes a twerp. The climber twirls as grows its curls. A new morning. Uh, Next. Excuse me. Yeah, thank you. A new morning, a new delight. It's a glorious twilight, welcoming newborn. It will not stop being new, like how the leaves greet the dew. The mountain silence is an angel presence. It's a sign, a grain of gain, the beats of love, the fly of dove, jump of fish to strive ahead. A new start, a new voyage, living back yesterday's baggage, beginning smart, it's a new morn, a gracious gown, it's a blessing for every living. Splendid warrior, that's my pen name. Indeed, a new morning is a blessing. And waking up to this new morning, when the blue zephyr, that is the wind, has touched my cheeks, that is, it's giving its soft touch, an instant glow that put me up in pouring its love along with sneaks. And the star, the sun, which has made all of us living, has brought prosperity to this world. The day has begun, and the twilight where the darkness is set behind, and we are striving for a new dawn, for a new sun that has risen, and the worldly creatures are all striving to go ahead. the climber is always looking for an opportunity to grow. And that's what life is. We all have to look for something that is better in our life. And it's a start, it's a voyage we all have to set every day. And indeed, that's a blessing. It's a new morning. Welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Shubhashri.
Yes, Subhashri, very, very beautiful indeed. New morning is a blessing. Very well said. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Beautiful.
Shubhashri, your voice modulation and your presentation was too good. Congratulations. All the best.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, judges. We'll move on to our next participant. G. Janvi, are you present?
Am I audible?
Yes, Janvi, you're audible. You can start.
Okay. Okay. Good afternoon to all the judges present here and my fellow mates. Hi, myself Janvi from DSU. I'm here to recite the poem War and Peace. Peace is not sleep of mind, but a war of suppressed war. Ever warring against the lust of martyrdom and the mind lost in the straight thoughts, and a fickle heart fat with straight devotion. Peace like charity starts at home and is of the nature's conquest, conquering first desire on evil lent as the acid test of manhood, that no battle has ever known, no less than war. Peace has its own victories, short of which man has nothing. Thank you.
Thank you, Janvi. The judges can please share their thoughts about this poem.
Colin?
Amish, sorry. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, this was a very nice presentation. I really enjoyed it. So congratulations very much.
It was really nice to listen to reciting the poem and very thoughtful also. Congratulations, dear.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, judges. We'll move on to our next participant. Deeksha J. Reddy, are you present?
Yes.
Yeah.
On some chaotic days, on the brink of the ocean that my mind rests on, I stand and wonder if I should pick war or peace. Some days I pick war. I let my demons out of the bedroom that I refer to as my sanctuary, a hideout. Immediately, it feels like a panic room. I scream 1,000 butterflies into existence, but they look like dead bats, breathless and gone. I slam my books on the table and refuse to look my mother in the eye. I pick out a million battles with the mailman, the dog next door, and with my reflection on the dirty puddle. I go to bed feeling tired and lost. Some days I pick peace. I start my day with a coffee or probably a book. Even with a headache, these things make me feel gratified. I choose to smile through everything, even things that feel like I'm staring at the burning red scorching sun. I feel my heart beating faster than a cheetah catching its prey. But my mind feels bliss, calm, and at ease. I go to bed feeling tired and lost. If you ask me on a random day, probably in a cabin with a feast spread before us, if I could choose one thing to live in war like a cavalryman, or to live in peace like an old couple in their warm blankets eating ice cream, what would I do? I would look you in the eye and tell you the answer is always both. Duality cannot be escaped. The old couple could find themselves stuck in the house with the killer, and the cavalryman could choose to finally take a nap. Thank you.
Thank you, Ekta. The judges can please share their thoughts.
Yeah, very, very interesting analysis. I really enjoyed it. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You merged two contradictory ideas so beautifully. It was
Yeah,
an amazing performance. Congratulations.
absolutely. Yeah.
Thank you, judges. Thank you, Diksha. Now let's have a small question for the participants. Can you name the poet who composed the poem Paradise Lost? Anyone? Paradise Lost.
John Milton.
Yes, that's right. It was John Milton. Did you also know that John Milton used 8,000 different words in his poem Paradise Lost? So that's a fun fact for you guys. And let's move on to our next participant. So the next participant is Ekta Agarwal. Are you present, Ekta Agarwal? Yes, sir, I'm here. Yeah, you can continue. Thank you. Good afternoon, my teachers and my friends, and I'm here to share my thoughts and my feelings about the poem I have wrote on topic New Morning. As we all know, the poem is all about the thoughts we have and the feelings we feel about it. So here it is. You know the reason I won't be doing anything without your permission. This quarter me in a prison. You felt so heavy in front of everybody I have ever known. Like you and the confusion of my thoughts draw me to the things I have avoided the most. A part of me has always loved you since the beginning of everything. Maybe we belong to same star. It would be a misfortune if we didn't had a part. Unlike you, I hide my poems like I hide our memories deep down in a closet like a torn up treasuries. Didn't you notice my pillows were wet? In this cunning world, I be the only sad. Ever did you wonder about the things I said to you? I remember a lot of last words of whom I ever wished to be mine. But the most that haunts me is the feeling of maneuver. It goes like, sleep for now, and I'll be aside in the morning too. I slept to the sounds of his breathing and woke up to a new morning, never hearing again. So yeah, there it is ended. Thank you so much. Thank you, Ekta. The judges can please share their thoughts.
Yeah, it is a creative expression of a very unusual emotion and very well put forward. Congratulations.
Congratulations, dear. I feel it talks more about your inner conflict and how you would start anew again, a fresh start. It was really good. Congratulations once again.
Thank you so much. Means a lot for me.
Who is the next?
I also request the participants to please turn on your cameras for the photo before we move on to the next participant. Just for a few minutes, if you could all turn on your cameras, please. I request all of you to turn on your cameras.
Yeah, it's very nice to meet all of you. And my congratulations to all of you for the wonderful talent you're sharing with all of us. I wish you all the very best. I've certainly enjoyed the presentation so far, and I'm looking forward to the rest. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We're just waiting for a few more participants to turn on their cameras, and once that is done, we move on to the next participant.
So how many participants do we have today?
Sir, we have 20 participants.
Yeah. So this is presumably the same list which I received in the morning.
Yes, sir, it's the same.
Yes. Okay.
Divya, Munirama, please can you switch on your cameras? Shambhavi Chavan, Spurti VK, can you please switch on your cameras for 2 minutes?
Yeah, I don't see Satvik.
Sorry, sir, I was just.
All right, there you are.
Yes, sir. Sorry.
Yes. And I think the only one who is wearing a mask.
Yeah, because I'm at college right now and
Yeah.
I'm with people.
Good for you, Satvik. Yes.
Thank you, sir. So I think we can move ahead. So the next participant is Prem A. Are you present, Prem A?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So let's move on. Shishi will be presenting her screen. I request all the participants to please mute. Thank you.
Good evening, one and all. Myself, Prem, studying in first year, Dayananda Sagar University. The topic which I've chosen is War and Peace. The title is The Struggle of Kashmir. They are fighting for freedom. People here are quacking in their boots. Instead of surrounding with peace and harmony, people here are surrounded with gunfiring and explosive bombs. It's been 73 years since we got freedom, but Kashmir is still fighting for its freedom. People here are walking through dark and scary alley without knowing what is awaiting for them. People here are home quarantined, have no idea about the outer world, even though this is known as paradise on earth. People here to like People here like to eat red and tasty apples, but the place where it is grown is fully filled with sorrowful red blood. People here are anticipated with tranquility. I'm done, sir. Like, have chosen this topic. I will brief you about this topic and the title which I've chosen. This poem is all about the struggle what people in Kashmir are facing due to the frequent wars that keeps happening in and around Kashmir. There, people are struggling for freedom. Every day, people are living with fear. They are unable to find peace in between those wars and bomb blasts. They are so scared of about their lives. Even though we got independence long back, people over there have no independence. They have to follow the orders of the governments, be aware of terrorist attacks, and have to be safe from them. Most of the time, people stay inside only without coming out of their house except for their basic necessities. People all over the world think that place as heaven because apples are grown in Kashmir, so they think like Kashmir is a wonderful place to live in. But they are undergoing so many struggles. They are hoping one or the other day all their lives will settle and they will have peace. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you for the hardcore truth. Judges,
So, Prem, yes, Prem, I understand your emotion. I was just wondering if you want to tell us what you have researched on this topic.
Yes, sir. Like as soon as I saw this topic, I felt the inward in our nation itself. There are so many conflicts. We got freedom since it's been 72 years since we got freedom, but Kashmir, which is a part of a country, is still struggling. So that kept me motivated. Oh, why not? Will take this topic and present a nice poem on it.
Interesting idea, and it certainly requires a lot of research. Maybe if you're interested, come and see me sometime.
Yes,
Thank you.
sir. Sure. Thank you, sir.
Prem, very patriotic indeed, and also it expresses your thirst for national harmony. Very good.
Thank you, judges. We'll move on to the next participant, Siddhi Saloke. Yes, you can start, Siddhi.
Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Hello everyone. Good afternoon. I am Siddhi Amar Saloke, first year aerospace engineering, DSU Bangalore. The topic of my poem is war and peace. I just tried to compare war and peace by using the metaphor figure of speech. So I will start now. Witness heaven fall to the earth and the hell fade away. The sun and the moon will collide and snowy summery day. When love and death embrace, good and evil will agree. The light and the darkness shall merge. Together peace there will be. See the smile through her tears. See the laugh as she cries. To love, to hate, a baby is born as another dies. The leaves will fall in the spring as the flowers bloom each fall. We want to live, but answer death's call, answer death's call, answer death's call. Finish.
Thank you, Siddhi. Do you have something to say about this, judges?
Yeah, I just compared war and peace together, and I just used mostly metaphor, a figure of speech. I mean, I just compare war and peace with good and evil, sun and moon, light and darkness, and I just write down everything in this part.
Siddhi, the idea that when love and death embrace, good and evil will agree is a very interesting idea. So, very nicely expressed. Congratulations.
Thank
Very
you.
good sorry. Very good imagination, Siddhi. I think you can work on it and you'll really do good. All the best.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, judges. Before we move on to the next participant, I'll be reciting a poem, The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both. And be one traveler, long I stood, and looked down one as far as I could, to where it bent in the undergrowth. Then took the other as just as fair, and having perhaps the better claim, because it was grassy and wanted wear, though as far that the passing there had worn them really about the same. And both that morning equally lay, in leaves no step had trodden black. Oh, I kept the first for another day. Yet, knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. I shall be telling this with a sigh, somewhere ages and ages hence. Two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. Thank you. Let's move on to the next participant, Shambhavi Chavan. Are you there,
Yes,
Shambhavi?
I'm there. I'm there.
You can start.
Yes. Let's go wisely and slowly. Those who rush will stumble and fall. I would like to start my recitation with this thought by the greatest of all time, William Shakespeare. We all poets, we just try to put our words down, and sometimes we do fail. So I tried my best not to fail today, and I've put all my efforts into this poem. I hope you like it. So I would like to take you on this journey for the theme War and Peace, the unglorified glory. So my name is Shambhavi and I start my recitation. Am I audible?
Yes, you are. You are
As the
audible.
cadence, yes, I'm starting. Thank you. Yes. As the cadence of the morning march sang bright, with a sense of pride and delight, she rose from the couch with a letter in her hand. Emily Brown, Sergeant Major in the Army of Creating Land. Elated she was, and on cloud nine, tidied her luggage and swift the finest wine. The sunlight painted his skin. The trees moved to the choreography of the wind. 5,000 miles away, on the streets of Berlin, Noah Albus set his journey as Major General, exalted with him. The same world that had her had him too. These young flowers flew to their families to bid adieu. Calm as the Pacific untangling the clouds, they seated beside as if the universe had vowed. As she cascaded her flaming locks that fluttered in the air, the demons inside him fled. Her stubborn cheeks begged his attention. Who said love at first sight is a cliche? But they grew a passionate connection. Starstruck he was, and so was Emily. They talked and laughed and smiled and blushed. Deep in the institution of love, they yearned the time to trust. The flight ceased, their hearts' tune sang beats. She raced after him and freed her whim. They kissed passionately as they departed, promising to meet and wed after the Great War terminated. The major and the sergeant joined their convoy, all set for their battle and enemies to destroy. Never had they felt an impulse for the war to end, as the love of their lives waited to append. Cometh the day, cometh the hour, the commander raced, dressed in olive greens and Dana boots. The beaded cap shined on the head, into the holster went a scar full fed. Towards the opponent, the infantry rushed, land vehicles followed, and the war traps thrust. Entered the major with his grenade launcher, the opposition crushed and humbled by his rupture. The sergeant picked a crossbow and she shot like a barrel until the enemies vanquished and fell. Swift as a deer, quiet as a shadow, calm as still water, and strong as a lioness, she walked through the bloodshed and intruded the lion's den. There he stood, strong and tall, the commander major of them all. She fed her crossbow with the hardest of bolts. The major turned, and they were left dumbfounded. Here they are on the brink of an apocalypse, Emily and Noah in the opposite battleships. For a moment he trembled and was perplexed. He dropped his gun and he lost his reflex. Was he to kill his love for his nation, or is he to abandon the values of his nation? He battled within himself, searching for an answer. The war within himself grew intenser. Tears rolled and her hands trembled too. She pulled the trigger and set it free. He found his peace in the war, while she lost hers for this all. For a nation she chose above everything. But isn't that love too? War or peace? What am I to say? Just a poetess with things to portray. So this is my poetry. Generally, this is one part of my imagination of what I thought, where I never existed during the World War One, when millions and billions of people lost their lives and even their loved ones, fighting for a nation and fighting for one cause. They had to leave everything just to serve their nation. I hope I've made enough justice for this. Thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you, Shambhavi. Judges, you may please continue.
Yes, very nice, Shambhavi, and it's remarkable that you express such complex emotions so beautifully, and
Thank you,
then ask
sir.
that question when you mention that it is for the nation she chose above everything, and then
Yes,
ask,
sir.
isn't that love too? It's a
Yes,
very,
sir.
very beautiful question.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much, sir.
Shambhavi, your
Yes.
imaginations have really run wild, and it
Yes.
reminded me of the beautiful poem The Highwayman by Alfred Noyes.
Oh, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Rather than
Thank you,
calling it
ma'am.
a poem, I've called it as a romantic ballad. It was really good. You finished
Oh,
the theme of war with love beautifully. All the best, dear.
thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you, judges. Before we move on to the next participant, I have a small question for the participants. Do you know which was the longest poem ever written? Any idea, participants?
Mahabharata, is it the longest poem?
Yeah, that's right. Mahabharata is described as the longest poem ever written. It is one of the two major Sanskrit epics of ancient India, the other being Ramayana. It narrates the struggle between two groups of cousins in the Kurukshetra war and the fates of the Kauravas and the Pandava princes and their successors. It's long. The Mahabharata's longest version consists of over 100,000 sloka or over a 200,000 individual verse lines. Each shloka is a couplet and long prose passages. It was a beautiful poem written by Vyasa Mahakavi. So let's move on to the next participant. We have Shrutha Kirti. Are you there, Shrutha Kirti?
Yes, I'm here.
You can continue.
Yes, good afternoon. This is Shrutakirti from first year aerospace engineering. This is about the new poem of New Morning. Here the introduction. We are allude to darkness. Although it is the darkest times of our life, we are even the purest hearts are drawn to it. This poem is about a person who is in the light, shades of light, and got distracted and got in his way into the darkness. This is a person who is feared and held captive within the darkness. It makes us feeble and feeling makes us feeble and captive. It is a feeling like we are drowned, but we can't scream and our screams are unheard. It's like screaming and our heads are underwater. The poem is about the poem title is about decision. The poem is about break of dawn. A room of hope and a room of desire. Then our curtains come down and the door shuts off, holding us captive in the dark. The darkness howled in the air, making us feeble and not to move anywhere. Do not drown in the fog. There is a light to shine upon. A new start and the day so bright. Everything will be all right. A morning of happiness and a morning of smiles, overlooking your sumpy old lives. Oh, human, known is by your heart. Be strong enough to be alone. The darkness is not the eternal zone. This there is always a dawn to the dusk. The warmth of rising sun will be in our heart. To be good, to be go for a new restart. The tagline of this poem is: we don't have to lose hope in the darkness. There is a light always find. There is a light to find its way. Thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you, Shrutha. The judges can please share their thoughts and expressions.
A very positive approach towards life. Congratulations and all the best, dear.
Thank you, ma'am.
So, do you have something to say, or can I move on? So, let's move on. So, before moving on with the next participant, I have a poem by William Shakespeare, All the World's a Stage, from As You Like It. All the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players. They have their exits and their entrances, and one man in his time plays many parts. His acts begin 7 ages. At first, the infant, mewling and puking in the nurse's arms, and then the whining schoolboy, with his satchel and shining morning face, creeping like snail unwillingly to school, and then the lover, sighing like a furnace with a woeful ballad made to his mistress's eyebrow, then a soldier, full of strange oaths and bearded like the pard, jealous in honor, sudden and quick in quarrel, seeking the bubble reputation. Even in the cannon's mouth, and then the justice, in fair round belly, with good capon line, with eyes severe and beard of formal cut, full of wise saws and mod instances, and so he plays his part. The sixth age shifts into the lean and slippered pantaloon, with spectacles on nose and pouch on side, his youthful hose well saved, a world too wide, for his shrunk shank and his big manly voice, turning again towards childish treble, pipes, and whistles in his sound. Last scene of all, that ends this strange eventful history in second childishness and mere oblivion. Sans teeth, sans eye, sans taste, sans everything. Thank you. Now let's continue with our next participant, Aisha Malika. Aisha, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, you can
Uh,
start.
Good afternoon to one and all present here. My name is Aisha, first year BTech CSEDS. When I look around me every day, I see women fighting for their rights. I see fighting battles for equality. But there's also one unspoken battle we witness every day, a battle fought by every man. So here's a moment of truth for you all. A war plays on the grounds of ego, dealing with supremacy and envy. An enemy to one and for the other, an amigo. A man is born with a bargained understanding, but he is always a victim of misunderstanding. He is always in a two sided conflict. Both the sides are right in their own ways, but no matter what he chooses, he is a convict. Express affection, don't express grief, for always emotions were made to contradict. He was always told he is strong, but nobody ever taught him that crying is not wrong. When he was softening, he was told to man up, because a future for the family he needs to build up. He is expected to compromise responsibilities he needs to realize. No matter what he does, last minute he's always expected to improvise. A man is expected to give up his dreams. If it isn't feasible with the society's expectations, he cannot cry, fight, or even scream. So he needs to make sacrifices, take care of the family and let go of things, but his soul is filled with abysses. He stays quiet and goes on. Tranquility for him is witnessing his family happy. He gives up his freedom of expression. For a man like Rome was built with ashes. He knows a phoenix resurrects and rises, and that keeps him composed. He finally is contented, for he knows peace is when your mind and heart are tuned. Men are seriously misunderstood creatures. I am a woman writing this poem for all the men. Thank you.
Thank you, Aisha.
You're most
Judges, do you have something to say about this?
Usually,
Yeah,
in general, it's a, yes, sir.
no, please go ahead, Palin.
It's a general notion that all talks about women and also the problems a woman faces. But here, Aisha has put herself into a man's shoes and she has also expressed her feelings and emotions faced by a man when he's forced to hold the responsibility and the family burden. Very well done, dear.
I tried my best, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Very well done.
Yeah, indeed, I'm really amazed that such young students, all of you, all of you are very young students, but the manner in which you're dealing with very complex ideas, complex issues, social implications of these issues is really amazing. So congratulations, Aisha. Very beautiful presentation.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, judges. Genuine poetry can communicate before it is understood. This was a beautiful thought by T.S. Eliot. Having this thought in mind, let's move on to the next participant. Vaibhavi Reddy, are you there?
Yes, I'm there.
Yeah, you can continue.
Hello, I'm Vaibhavi from CSE department, first year. I have written a poem titled Believe in Today. I'm just going to start. Today is our forever because tomorrow never comes and yesterday is gone. Today is our forever because tomorrow never comes and yesterday is gone. Today is our eternity, beginning every dawn. Tomorrow isn't soon enough and yesterday is too late. Tomorrow isn't soon enough and yesterday is too late. Today is our forever. Today is our forever. We can't let it just go by. Today is yours fashion as you choose. It is filled with opportunities to use. Each moment is a treasure you can spend. Each moment is a treasure you can spend. Today is yours, and everything you can do to help or to make tomorrow's dreams come true. Today is yours, and everything you can do help tomorrow's dream come true. Thank you.
Very powerful message, Vaibhavi. Very powerful message. Very well said. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
So, in general, we want to convey the idea that each and every one of us should make maximum use of today and not wait for tomorrow. Very well said, Vaibhavi. It was too good.
Thank you, mom. In this age, we always postpone that things to tomorrow or like that. So I just want to say this. Thank you so much.
Thank you, judges. Thank you, Vaibhavi. Let's move on to our next participant, Nityashri V. Are you there?
Yes, I'm there.
Yeah, you can start.
Hello, everybody. This is Nityashri here. I'm currently pursuing my 6th SEM in BE Computer Science in DSU. I have chosen the theme of a new morning. I would now like to recite my poem titled A New Morning. My alarm clock rang as it sang. Tick, 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 tick. Sounding more like a warning. This began my morning. I should seriously say I ought to wrap it regularly and rapidly race, for it was my first day at my new workplace. I looked around, but none I found. Missing mom, missing dad, missing grand, missing gran. I had to live far away from my home, but not certainly to for I cleared flat. I shifted to another flat, based in another state, only to not get late. All I had to force was to finish my daily chores, for I lived all alone, although I had a smartphone. Finally, I hogged something wrong, putting on my black coat, heading on to the high court. Respect the law, respect the verdict, respect the client. All of this I wrote only in my mind for a paper I couldn't find. As I was on my way to kickstart my dynamic yet drowsy day, I continued yawning that cold morning. Thank you.
You're very interesting. I'm sure a lot of people go through this kind of an experience, and you have really captured that very nicely. Congratulations.
It's like, you just mentioned it very clearly that in spite of all odds and tribulations in life, we have to overcome everything in a positive way, right? Each and every one of us go through, I think many young people, once they move to a new place, they go through the same situation. But then you mentioned beautifully that you have to overcome all odds. Very good, dear.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nityashri. Thank you, judges. Let's move on to our next participant, Harshita D. Harshita D, are you there?
Yeah, I'm there. Good afternoon to one and all present here. I am Harshita Devakar and I will be presenting a poem on war and peace called The Soul of Existence. I have always believed that both war and peace depends on our perception, and it is necessary for both of them to coexist in order to have a balanced and healthy life for ourselves and people around us. And I hope I have stressed on this point in my poem. Like night and day, like justice and corruption, war and peace are such that depends on perception and nothing much. Death of millions, the cries of billions, seems to be the only things heard in the scale of metric tons. Does war mean death, or is it the beacon of a new existence? Does destruction mean the end of all, or is it truly a new beginning for all? War without weapons is life at its best. Our will it will surely test. This is a war every man shall fight. No mortal can escape this plight. If this is war, then what is peace? Peace is no emotion. Peace is no experience. But it is a view of life that traces a being. True peace is an illusion for those who quest for it in this realm. Peace is much beyond a treaty, much beyond a trophy. Peace lies deep within, so deep, making it almost impossible. One can find peace at war, the other is at war even at peace. This war has no bloodshed, no weapons, no destruction that is worldly. All that is destroyed is man himself. This war is the worst of all wars, for it can last an entire lifetime, or maybe longer. Thank you.
So it boils down to the choice between perception and reality and trying to sort out what is what. Very well said.
You beautifully defined both war and peace, especially given a beautiful explanation for peace and what it really means. It was really good. Congratulations, dear.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, judges. We'll move on to our next participant. Ivan Rennie Verghese. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible. You can please continue.
A very good afternoon. I'm Ivan and I'm a first year student. Today I've chosen the topic war or peace. As the famous author John Steinbeck once said, all war is a symptom of man's failure as a thinking animal. So through this poem, what I'd like to say is that my poem is titled Hell on Earth. So basically it means that war is hell on earth. So what I'm trying to convey to this poem is the feelings, the anguish, the pain that a soldier on the battlefield goes through. And this poem is written from the point of view of a soldier who wakes up to find that he's the only one remaining on the battlefield and all his comrades are dead. At the end of the poem, I've also brought in the concept of hope, a ray of hope that in the future, in the near future, mankind would finally coexist without wars, and that would be the ideal world that we want. But there's also another way to look into it. The piece that I refer to in my poem could also be that as long as there is war, a person can attain peace only when he dies. Like when he dies and passes on to his afterlife, he'll attain peace. Until then, there will be war. So yeah, I'd like to go forward with my poem. Hell on earth. Woke up to the smell of death. Bodies and grounds alike, splattered in red. The air shrouded in a dusty breath of missing limbs and the rotting dead. Thousands massacred, friend and foe alike, with the flick of a finger or an aerial strike. The grim reaper is busy with all the havoc they will wreak. Humans now in a scrimmage for power, all whilst the future seems bleak. I've grown tired of this futile fight. My heart aches and body trembles with fright. Fear and agony wash our peace away and draw us closer to the end of our days. I go to sleep tonight with a glimmer of hope that resides in me. I pray that God intervenes with all his might so that a beautiful day we get to see. May peace be bestowed upon us like a dove that soars from a flood, carrying a new bright branch of olive and finally terminating this hell on earth. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ivan.
Very, very beautiful poem, Ivan.
Thank you, sir.
And it's, I'm getting a sense of what young minds go through because of the conflicts that we all have, something that we wish we did not have to be subjected to. And many of you are putting forth these ideas very beautifully, very powerfully. Very nice poem, Ivan.
Thank you,
Congratulations.
sir. Thank you, sir.
Very good, Ivan. Your ideas
Thank you.
conveyed through this poem is similar to the ones conveyed by George Bernard Shaw in his play Arms and the Man, wherein how a soldier really feels in the battlefield. Okay, it's not really that he wants to kill people, but then he's forced to do so. Your ideas were really good and amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, judges. We'll move on to our next participant, Kapil Adarsh, essay. Kapil, are you there? Kapil? Kapil, are you there? I think Kapil is not there today. So before we move on to the next participant, I have a small poem by Robert Frost, Fire and Ice. Some say the world will end in fire, some say in ice. From what I have tasted of desire, I hold with those who favor fire. But if it had to perish twice, I think I know enough of hate. To say that for destruction ice is also great and would suffice. Thank you. There's a small question that I would like to ask the participants. What is metrophobia? Any idea, participants? Metrophobia?
Fear of poetry.
Yeah, so metrophobia is the fear of poetry. So let's move forward with our next participant. So the next participant is Divyanshu Kedia. Are you there, Divyanshu?
Yes, sir. Am I audible, sir?
Yeah, you're audible. Please continue.
A very good afternoon to one and all present here. Myself, Divyansh Kedia. My Let the sunshine in, and take away the dark. Won't you please begin to light a little spark? Let the sunshine in, and open up your heart. Won't you please begin? Don't let the sunlight part. Let the sunshine in, and shine it all around. Won't you please begin? You know it can be found. Let the sunlight in, down deep into your soul. Won't you please begin, and let yourself feel whole? Let the sunlight in, and then let it shine out. Won't you please begin, shine on others who doubt. Let the sunlight in, and soon others will too. Won't you please begin, and let it start with you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Divyanshu. Penny, for your thoughts, judges.
It was very rhythmic and interesting to listen to. All the best, Divyanshu.
Thank you, ma'am.
So, do you have anything to say, or can I move on? Okay. So moving on, we have the next participant, Kunika Mathur. Kunika Mathur, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, you can start.
So a very good afternoon to everyone. I'm Kunika Mathur from first year CSC. The poem I'm presenting today is named The First Light, and the main intention of this poem is to showcase the positivity of the morning, which brings a smile on your face and lets you get through the entire day. So I'll start. First light. The summer breeze flows through my face, filling me with supreme bliss. Standing at my porch, I close my eyes, feeling diverse emotions. The temperature is moderate yet consoling, consoling all my distress until it fleets into infinity. The tiny amount of fog and mist in the sky rejuvenate me from head to toe, and the birds sing sweet, calming melodies into my ears. The air of my space is now brimful of the honeyed voices of my family, building an atmosphere of purity and positivity. However, I soon realized the need for me to be out in the dark and vicious world. So I move just like every day, reassuring myself that I will open my eyes daily to the first light, feeling marvelous and composed. Thank you.
Thank you, Kunika.
Yeah, beautiful poem, Konika. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Kunika, it expresses your inner feelings, I guess. Hope you're feeling that now you're in a safe haven wherein you're taken care by your parents, and maybe in future you'll have to be on your own. I feel that is what you're trying to portray. It was really good.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, judges.
There is an emphasis on reassuring herself. So I think that's going to take care of it.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Thank you, judges. Let's move on. So the next participant is Syed Hanan. Syed, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, you can start.
Good evening, everyone present here. Before I start my proceed with my poem, I'd like to share a few thoughts about a war between the two people, which later embarked a glorious peace, giving to a lifestyle of feeling epic. So, after a long time gone, after my last poem, I required a chance to engage myself in this unique skill of mine, whereby I devote these lines to one of my friends who changed my way of thinking by letting me excavate a new ability of mine. By this, I take along with the proceedings of my poem, the eloquent epistle. From the gloomy nights of unfathomable emotions to the bloomy mornings of intensified notions, our delicate friendship en route to this day, fantasizing a Hawaiian holiday in humid May. I regret to all essays of my abusive vocals, and I assure you to dance to all of your favorite musicals. My prayer book knows the amount of tears spilled over the long course when we were irrationally split. The purest beauty of your reverent soul kept me away from committing any further foul. I loved every inch of the path we've been through, and I intend to skip your every flaw without any guilt. I fancied the aberrant smiles scattered all around your face, contradicting the sorrows that had met you in that gloomy gaze. I intend in inscribing my infinite infatuation by adjourning my life in your every dimension. My persistence shall always bear the witness to every soul who had promised you a foreverness. I know you know that many of them know about my deluging love that surpasses every road. My insane desire to procure you in my destiny develops an insight to cast a fortune colliding spell by the witches from the coven of Gemini. With the day's first sunshine, I express my profound feelings to you in the most magical manner I could ever do. Thank you.
Syed, I think your reference to the colliding spell by the witches from the Coven of Gemini is awesome. It's
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot.
Very well placed. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
You've beautifully expressed your inner thoughts and emotions in the form of beautiful verse. Congratulations, Syed.
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Syed. Do the judges have anything to say about his poem? Okay. We have the next participant, Spurti VK.
Am I audible, Satvik?
Yeah, Spurti, go on.
A very good afternoon to one and all present. So I'm Spurti from third year. I'm studying in sixth STEM. So my poem title is Krieg and Pay. So generally, it's based on the theme that war and peace. But generally, for us, war is meant with weapons or with the opponents and something beyond the normal things that are happening in our life. But I have a different concept over here to present. According to me, A war is not just with weapons or with the opponents, it's within yourself at times when you're feeling low, when you're feeling, okay, I can't do this or I can't get on with this difficult situation. That time when you win over your thoughts and yourself and stand out to be a better person for tomorrow, that's when you actually win the war and you live a peaceful life. So I go ahead and present my poem. When I glanced at her, I presumed her to be the happiest woman in the hall, but her eyes definitely showed the glimpse of a warrior. She was an epitome to youths. Her professional career was a sign of peaceful victory. Her war scars taught the lesson to be brave, but her strained silence communicated her intrinsic worth. Her words of bravery were a dose of energy. Her intellectual gestures were a spark of her perfection. Her intent to protect people manifested her concern towards humanity. Her salute to brave martyrs delineated her respectful behavior. Her Warfield Chronicles were a thriller experiences to listener. Her humble attitude with the soldiers depicted she wasn't just a warrior woman. She was she was peaceful as a sea after the storm. I wondered if her loss was irreplaceable. Being a woman commander, she had set an extraordinary exemplar. Many of us in the hall just wanted to be her replica, but I still had the curiosity to know if her internal peace was alike the one being portrayed to the world. So here basically I'm trying to tell that we have always seen a man as the army commander, and there are many a times where he's considered to be strong. But here I'm portraying a sequence wherein a woman as an army commander, and the way she has gone through certain phases of wars, has she lost everything in her life, or is her life equally peaceful as it's being portrayed through her career? Thank you.
Thank you, Spurti.
Spurti, congratulations. This was a very beautiful poem. Great tribute to a woman warrior. But
Thank you, sir.
it extends to much more than war in the usual sense in which we understand the term, because women are always in the middle of some or the other conflict, and they must be going through similar situations. So I think you have brought out very deep and very beautiful ideas. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Spurti, I feel that your poem has a feministic touch to it. And also, I feel that it's portraying your inner courage and strength as a woman. Congratulations, dear.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, judges. The next participant is Ariel Imtiaz. Imtiaz, are you there?
Yes, I'm there. Okay, greetings to everyone. So today I'm going to present C. Vix Pacem Parabellum. So before I start reciting the poem, I would like to shed some light on it. First of all, the phrase Si vis pacem parabellum is Latin for if you want peace, prepare for war. So this poem is highly inspired by Owen Wilson and his works. And this poem is has an ambience of World War One, and it portrays a first person perspective of a soldier who's perplexed as to what to do in a battlefield. And as we know, like I stand to believe that war is fought between a lot of people, but then the people who make the decisions don't actually go through the hardest of times. They are the ones who are at the top tiers of government, and they make decisions. They send soldiers in and around to satisfy their ego to conquer places, and it's the pawns who suffer the most. So with that being said, I would like to proceed with reciting my poem. So Si vis pacem parabellum. Stranded on a cold winter morning uncovering, stranded on a ditch with green skies hovering, soldiers cold and reticent, the major shouted and swore, Parabellum, prepare for war. As I walk my way up, I see Jack lying with his eyes dim, contorted in agony, pale as death, stranded amidst the battlefield with smoky sight, fatigued and numb like a horrifying dream. Bombs and ammunition flare up the night, bullets punching soldiers with dreadful scream, like a grenade in penitentiary. I see a person approaching through the mist, a soldier like me, but an adversary. I look at him, baffled, unknowing what to do. To a person like me, compelled to misery, a puppet to a maniac, I feel a bullet pass through me. Major's words run through my head as I collapse. Si vis pacem parabellum. As I lay on the ground, breathing my last, I contemplate the sanctity of peace, while friends and family back home grieve. Thank you.
Nicely said, Asl Imtiaz. I'm sure a lot of soldiers go through these moments. You have captured those thoughts very beautifully. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Arshad, very moving and touching indeed. It made me visualize the entire scene as I was listening to you reciting it. Very good, dear.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Arshul. I think your poem had a very deep meaning and a very deep impact to all the attendees that are present here. It was very well said.
Thank
Uh,
you.
Moving on, I wanted to confirm if Kapil Adarsh is here. Kapil Adarsh. Okay, judges, please note Kapil Adarsh has not participated even though he has submitted his poem. Now let's give the judges some time to finish grading. So by the time, let me recite a few poems for you. We all know the poet called Emily Dickinson, right? So one of her famous poems, "Hope is the Thing with Feathers" by Emily Dickinson. Hope is the thing with feathers that perches in the soul and sings the tune without the words and never stops at all. And sweetest in the gale is heard, and sore must be the storm that could abash the little bird that kept so many warm. I've heard it in the chillest land and on the strangest sea, yet never in extremity. It asked as a crumb of me. Does anyone in our audience have their own perception about this poem? Anyone at all? Or do you want me to repeat the poem for you? Can you repeat the poem again? Sure, sure. Hope is the thing with feathers that preaches in the soul and sings the tune without words and never stops at all. And sweetest in the gale is heard, and sore must be the storm that could abash the little bird that kept so many warm. I've heard it in the chillest land and on the strangest sea, yet never, in extremity, it asked a crumb of me. It's a poem by Emily Dickinson. The name of the poem is Hope is the Thing with Feathers. Just share your thoughts. It doesn't have to be precise. It should be an
Okay.
interactive session, right?
I feel like hope exists even without reason in the world, no matter what happens. Like in the most unexpected of situations, even there, it's always there, and it is what that drives us forward.
Yes, that's a very interesting perception.
And most importantly, no matter what goes wrong or where it goes wrong, the hope and the courage to correct it will put you a step forward, and maybe that's how you can, be a little better tomorrow, if not today.
A bird is always symbolized with freedom, with wings to fly, getting up to move ahead. So this wings with feathers and a bird over here is symbol of hope. So maybe it's like I can take it as a hope for freedom, a hope for getting up for and striving ahead. So as in such.
Yes, these are very interesting views. See, it's nice how a certain poem can mean something different to different people. It's a nice interactive session. I'll recite another poem. Let's see, I think that will be more relatable to everyone here. A Poison Tree by William Blake. I was angry with my friend. I told my wrath. My wrath did end. I was angry with my foe. I told it not. I told it not. My wrath did grow, and I wandered it in fear. Mocked with smiles, and with soft deceitful wiles. And it grew both day and night, till it bore an apple bright. And my foe beheld it shrink and shrink, and it was mine. And into my garden stole, when the night had veiled the pole. In the morning glad I see my foe outstretched beneath the tree. So, participants, do you have any
Yes, yes,
ideas on
yeah, I
this?
do. This is one of my favorite poems, and how the poet describes about his anger. So it's like when you don't address your anger, when you don't address your thoughts, it could grow into a malaise, which is very bad, which is in fact worse for our own selves too, and also the person we love. Because if we don't start addressing our thoughts, how bad it could be. Like, for example, anger is the worst of thoughts that anyone could have apart from jealousy. So if you don't address anger, it could turn into something really really grotesque kind of malice, which you cannot forgive yourself, and which you cannot forgive even the person you love. So it could end lives and all that. So basically, when you start addressing your thoughts and when you do it right away, you have a lot of peace of mind. Yeah, that's what I think this could be.
That's a very interesting interpretation. I assume you can relate to it very strongly.
Yeah,
Yes, I do.
emotion is like a response to a stimuli, in the background that you're in, that you're facing or going through. So at that time, expression of thoughts is very necessary, and when it is, as if it's
एक पॉइंट डब्बा पड़ी लम्हा नहीं नहीं मा नहीं मा
unexpressed,
तेज
the
कवर
situation turns out to be
Shambhavi, Shambhavi, can you mute yourself? Shambhavi. Yes, continue, Shubhashri. Sorry for the disturbance.
yeah, okay. So since it's a stimuli around and an emotion is an expression, so it is very necessary to place ourselves in that impactful manner, to put up all the expressions outside, so that we feel that we are a part of the nature. So it has to be a response, an equal response to what is received. So when that happens, how beautifully it can be balanced. That's where we can say the life moves on.
That's very interesting interpretation of the poem. You say you young poets have different ways of viewing different poems. It's very nice to hear your all views. I have another poem. I think this will also relate very strongly to our young audience. It's called I Wandered Lonely as a Cloud. It's by William Wordsworth. I think he's a very famous poet. And English textbooks when we were younger had his poems.
Yes.
I wandered lonely as a cloud that floats on high over valleys and hills. Vales and hills. When all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils. Besides the lake, beneath the trees, fluttering and dancing in the breeze, continuous as the stars that shine and twinkle on the Milky Way. They stretched in never-ending line along the margin of a bay. 10,000 I saw at a glance, tossing their heads in sprightly dance. The waves beside them danced, but they outdid the sparkling waves in glee. A poet could not but be gay in such a jocund company. I gazed and gazed, but little thought what wealth the show to me had brought.
For oft, when on my couch I lie, in vacant or in pensive mood, they flash upon the inward eye, which is the bliss of solitude, and then my heart with pleasure fills, and dances with the daffodils. So, dear audience, your thoughts?
So it's basically as though the ideal life policy says you come alone and you go alone, but when you're going through the journey of life, there are a lot of things that add on. Though you're alone, you see a lot of things, you observe a lot of things, and you put it down in a form of expression. Like a few of us do poetry over here, and someone else does a story writing. So there's a lot of way you try to express yourself. So you're never alone in the course of life. You get to learn and observe and grow day by day by seeing nature, by seeing things around you, and you happily express it to the people whom you love, or to the ways that you want to express it and want everyone to take a taste of it. So that's what I would convey it as a.
That's very nice, Purti. Pauline ma'am, are you saying something? I think I can hear something from your side.
Me is it? Shall I speak?
All right, here's a question for the audience. Do you know what is the largest word or longest word without a vowel?
I'm not aware of the pronunciation. Can I just spell it out?
Yeah, yeah, sure.
I guess it's Nymphy. Is it?
Nymphy. Yes. I apologize for the delay, but soon the results will be out, so sit tight. Do you know who are the three biggest selling poets? You can guess, that's all right.
Isn't one J.K. Rowling?
J.K. Rowling wasn't a poet. I think he was a novelist.
Sorry,
Could you
sorry.
repeat? The three biggest selling poets. The best one of all time.
William Shakespeare, I guess.
The
William Shakespeare.
Yeah.
There's also this poet called Lao Tzu. I don't think he's American.
And Gibran also.
Yeah.
Gibran.
Yes. And there's Khalil Gibran. Correct. I'll read another poem for the audience here. Mother to Son by Langston Hughes. Well, son, I'll tell you, life for me ain't been no crystal stair. It's had tacks in it, and splinters, and boards torn up, and places with no carpet on the floor, bare. But all the time it's been a climbing on, a reaching landings and turning corners, and sometimes going in the dark where there ain't been no light. So, boy, don't you turn back. Don't you sit down on the steps, 'cause you find it's kinder hard. Don't you fall now, for I'm still going on, honey. I've seen, still climbing, and life for me ain't been no crystal stair. So,
There can be two views on this poem, one from the mother to son, and the second one how son perceives his mother. Does the audience have any thoughts on this?
Yeah, I have one. So fear is something that everybody has it, right? But the process of it is to get rid of it. So that's where all our courage, the confidence that we adore ourselves with, to fight with the fears and overcome it. And once you have overcome it, you never have it. You no longer deal with it. But that doesn't mean that will be the end of your fear in your life. There are many others. So always there's as said, a mother is our first teacher, right? Because we are born to see the world and she shows it to us. So what can be the best lesson to learn about life and how it goes on when it comes directly from a mother?
That's very nice, Shubhashri. Pauline, ma'am, do you have any thoughts on this? I thought you might be, having a few things to say about this poem.
I was busy judging. I didn't listen. Sorry. Sorry about it. Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Sorry about it. I was just going through the poems and I was just judging. I didn't exactly pay attention. Sorry. Hello?
Yes, ma'am. Uh, yes.
Excuse me. Once when I'm done, should I send the score sheet to the same mail ID that you received?
Yes, ma'am. Send it to the same mail ID. It's Google Form, so as soon as you update, you'll be able to see it.
I have to just send it back, right?
Ma'am, Pauline ma'am, when it's done, no, we are getting it updated here only. We are waiting for Deshmukh sir's updation and then he will compile the results and we will announce it soon. So your records are with us only. It's in the drive and we got it.
Okay, I don't have to do anything more, right, ma'am? Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
you don't have to do anything, ma'am. But can you comment about the overall function and overall students, how they have performed, and how about this event, what you feel, and how it can be better in next time? Please pour your suggestions, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am. To be frank, I've been dealing with literature students all through my life, and this is the first time I ever got to judge engineering students. And it was so amazing that they're so creative and they could write so well. And as I was going through the poems, I was just really astonished, and it was really difficult for me to judge, in fact. That's all I would say. All the 20 poems were extremely good, and I was just breaking over my head how to judge. And in fact, I feel like, engineering students are no less than literature students when it comes to creativity and aesthetic tastes. That's all I'd like to say.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It's a huge compliment for our students. Like in B, they show so much interest in literature. So really, they will be looking forward for much such events. So they are very, very much interested in Shakespeare and all. When I take classes, I talk to them. They are fully engrossed in literature. So I also don't miss that literature part is missing in my BTech teaching. But they are really very, very much interested in all these things. So thank you so much, ma'am.
Anytime, and you're most welcome.
Please be here for half an hour more. I think judgment will take little time.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah, any student who want to say anything? Ekta, are you here?
Yes, ma'am, I'm here.
Ekta, I got your message that you forgot to share your screen. Can you share it now? It's beautifully done. Please share your screen. Ekta.
Second. Is it visible now?
Yes, it is visible. It's It's very nicely done. Ekta, can you recite once more with your speed?
Good. You know the reason I won't be doing anything without your permission. This cornered me in a prison. You felt so heavy in front of everybody I have ever known. Like you and the confusion of my thoughts draw me to the things I have avoided the most. A part of me has always loved you since the beginning of everything. Maybe we belong to the same star. It will be a misfortune if we didn't head up.
Nothing is going.
Unlike you, I hide my like I hide our memories deep down in a closet, like a torn up treasuries. Didn't you notice my pillows were wet? In this cunning world, I be the only sad. Ever did you wonder about the things I said to you? I remember a lot of last words. But the most that haunts me, it goes like, sleep for now, and I'll be aside in the morning too.
Thank you so much, Ekta. Over to Srishti. Srishti, please ask some details or ask any of the student if they want to comment.
Students, would like to know your views about this event. Have you enjoyed it? Since there weren't many poetry competitions, we thought we'll provide a platform for you where you can share your talents. And really, your poems were really excellent. I don't have any problem thinking that in the future you'll really need great poets, provided you work for it. Anyone? Spurti, would you like to share your views?
Yeah, Shrishti, thank you. The being the like being the committee in the committee, you guys are like very supportive. You sent us mails, you gave us enough time to think about our poems and write it, and you gave us a platform to express our talent and show our skills in writing. So I should be very thankful to every one of you, the Graffiti Club members and the and all the student committee who has organized this wonderful event for us, through which I have got an opportunity to express myself. And it was a very nice event, listening to everyone who came up with various poems and various expressions. Though the themes were just limited to two, there were a lot of expression of every theme. So we can just collect the idea that everyone has their own opinion and the own way of seeing a particular theme. I guess there should be more of opportunities and more of events like this, so that we'll be pretty expressive and connecting each other.
You're right, Dhyan and Sagar definitely should arrange more events like this.
Yeah.
But as we know what's going to happen, so never mind. So, if you tell a novelist life is not like that, he has to do something about it. The poet simply replies saying, no, but I am just like this. This quote was actually quoted by Philip Larkin. It has a lot of truth behind it and a lot of personality. Janvi, would you like to share something with us?
Actually, I have the edited one. Shall I show that?
Yes, yes, please go ahead.
Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes, yes, it's visible.
Okay. So this is my edited one.
It's actually quite exquisite. Would you like to recite it again for us?
Yeah, sure. Okay. War and peace. Peace is not sleep of mind, but a form of suppressed war, ever warring against the lust of martyrdom, and the mind lost in the stray thoughts, and a fickle heart fat with stray devotion. Peace, like charity, starts at home and is of the nature's conquest. Conquering first desire on evil lent as the acid test of manhood that no battle has ever known, no less than war. Peace as its own victories, short of which man has nothing. Thank you.
That was quite well done. Thank you very much for sharing this with us, Nandri.
Thank you.
When it comes to poetry, the poets usually write down what they're thinking, their deepest feelings, their deepest desires, things they hate, things they like. They all come into perspective when they write a poem. Of course, when you write a story, you can share your views, but when it comes to poem, it's in a more poetic and a dramatic way. The feelings are being expressed. As you can see, a lot of poets, as we know Elizabeth Barrett, Browning, we know William Ernest Henley, we know Shakespeare, we know Jenny Lind, all these people. When you think about the world in your own perspective, you connect more to life. I think this is what a lot of poets here have done. I see a lot of you have written on the topic war and peace. Is this because you were deeply able to connect due to the recent circumstances? Anyone wants to share your views on why you chose the particular theme?
War and peace is such a contradictory thing. Like one wherein you're fighting for it, and one wherein your silence, you're enjoying it. And in a situation wherein now everything is online and you didn't get to go out a lot of times due to the pandemic, and there are a lot of things happening. Maybe the routine suddenly switched all of a sudden, wherein like you were going to college and now you're supposed to stay at home and like listen to classes through online. So there are a lot of things that we don't want to accept, and there are a lot of things that we wanted it to be this way. So I guess choosing this topic was more like you are giving yourself a chance whether you are able to battle between the two. Are you able to relate how your life was pretty normal and how pandemic has changed it, and you are accepting it to be a little normal compared to the life which was going before. So that is the reason I chose this topic. And personally, many of us fail to express because we have lost the connection. There's no like physical connection. It's only like we do it online, or we do a WhatsApp call, and we hardly get to go out and meet people. So a lot of people don't want to express it with when they are online, and due to that there may be like certain circumstances wherein they feel low or they feel alone, and they're trying to fight with themselves and be a better person for tomorrow. And that's why I chose this topic, and particularly my poem went on that sort of a theme.
That's a very nice way of looking at things, Purti. Well, there was one poem that particularly got my attention. The poem by Prem, The Struggle of Kashmir. Prem, are you still with us?
Yes, ma'am.
Would you like to share your thoughts on why you chose this particular topic? It's very connected to the reality.
For sure, yes, ma'am. Like, you all gave us the two topics. One is war and peace, and a new morning. The reason I choose this topic is new morning is we see it every day, but the war and peace, there's the hidden secret. We need only the peace. Nowadays, like countries fight for the things which they wanted. For example, for land they fight, and many things they fight for, and they with a great cruelty and with a great of harassment, and like whatever they wanting, and they will take it from the people. But whereas, like, if we are really wanting peace and we'll make the people understand why the war, like the life of human is not eternal. We have to die some or the other day. So why the people are fighting and killing themselves? There, as we know, all the People who live around us are our brothers and sisters. So let's just promote the peace and let us live peacefully and treat all the people, let it irrespective of the different countries, as us brothers and sisters, and be in this world. Thank you, ma'am.
That's a very interesting take on the situation. As we all know, different people have different views and different situations, different perspectives, and different abnormalities that are there on this earth. But of course, each person's views in different situation is very important. You see, they matter a lot. So here we have a lot of young poets with us. So let's say if I take a situation, World War One, there was one poet here particularly who focused on World War One. I can't remember the name. Can you can you speak it?
Yeah, yeah, it's me.
Yes. Can you talk more about your topic and how you were inspired to choose?
Okay, actually, the two topics that were given, war and peace, and then a new morning. I found war and peace more comfortable, and also I found it as a controversial subject. As if I put it in this way, like war and peace, they can't simultaneously go together, and normally it's put onto us that in order to acquire peace, you need to go through war. But what we don't see is because war is glorified in many ways. If you see World War One, you glorify Germany, Russia, like World War One, World War Two. But then what we don't see is the trouble that soldiers have to go through, the trouble that what do you say, the trouble the families have to go through, the mothers who gave birth to these soldiers, and so on. So that's why I picked the topic. And then at the same, it happened to be a coincidence when I came across this Latin phrase, si vis pacem parabellum, which means like if you want peace, prepare for war. So to sum it up, like war is glorified and it's portrayed as a glorified thing, but actually, if you dissect it and if you look at its roots, it's a very evil thing which can break families apart, break countries. So I think that message needs to be out there.
Yes, you're absolutely right. Just like I said about the different perspective, and you are trying to bring out the cruelty in the war, right? The
Yeah.
contradiction. Yes. For example, if we choose to look at these poems from the perspective of the family members of the warriors, of the soldiers who go fight on the front lines for their country, for them, they might as well have their children in their homes, safe and sound with them. But for the soldiers, fighting for the nations is very important. They find
Yeah.
pride in something like that, defending their nations.
At most times, it's not always a choice that you can or you cannot. It's like
Yeah.
you're forced into military. Yeah.
A lot of times I've seen that there were times where young men were, dragged out of their homes and they were forced to participate in military activities.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah, their soldiers, the squad was, extended and made really big because of this. They were told to fight, even though they had children at home, the young children, the older children, their older parents, even though they had to leave their home and fight.
Exactly, exactly.
Well, this was about War and Peace. There were a few poets who talked about a new morning. So, are those people still here? Would you like to speak more about your poems? I see you didn't get a lot of chance to, express properly how you were inspired to choose that topic. Share some views with us. I think Shraddha Kirti has chosen the topic Break of Dawn, a new morning, a synonym of it. Are you still here? Would you like to share some views? I think she has left the meeting. Rai Harika, you also chose the topic, the last one. Would you like to speak more about your topic?
I chose War and Peace meant about my poem meant about War and Peace. Yeah, I would like to tell some.
Sure, sure, please go ahead.
When I started writing this poem, all the thing was war and peace. War gets over, so many people get martyred, and all those things happen. But what about if everyone is martyred and everyone is dead? Then what about the mankind? That was the thing I had in mind while writing the poem. We
The
fight for
mankind,
peace.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we fight for peace, and at last, everyone dies. Everyone is martyred. Everyone is there's no mankind existing. That situation will occur sometime. That is what I felt.
Of course, the end result of a war is always gruesome. One person ends up winning, but someone dies for that victory.
Yeah, exactly.
Of course. All right, students, we have the prizes ready. I'll show you the prizes. I'll switch on my video. Look. You guys can come to the college and collect your prizes. I'll announce the winners shortly. The second place goes to Shambhavi Chawan. Thank you so much.
Shambhavi, are you here?
Yes, I'm there. Your poem was indeed very nice and touched right into our hearts. Thank you so much. Congratulations on your prize. Thank you. And the first prize is Ivan Rennie Varghese.
Thank
Congratulations,
you.
Ivan.
Thank you. Thank you.
Your poem, indeed, all the judges were also really, praising your poem. It was very nice and thoughtful.
Thank you.
So both of you can come to the college and collect your prizes. The prizes will be with Monica ma'am.
Yes. Thank
Yeah.
you.
You're welcome. And Pauline ma'am. Pauline ma'am, we have a memento for you. So as you can see, this memento is meant for you. You have judged our English poetry contest, and because of you, our little event has been successful. Pauline ma'am, are you here?
Yes, thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, Raymond will come, and whenever he will come, he will collect, and we will make sure that how it could reach to you. So anytime if Raymond is coming, so please ask him to meet me, and this will
Yes,
happen.
thank you
Thank
very
you so
much,
much,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for coming, taking time out of your busy schedule and helping us with our event.
Thank you, Srishti.
Ma'am, votive thanks, everyone here. Votive thanks will be presented by Monica, ma'am.
Thank you, Srishti. As Wordsworth defines poetry as the spontaneous overflow of powerful feeling, I am humbled and honored to give my vote of thanks. First of all, I want to thank Dean Sir, A. Srinivas Sir, for motivating us for doing online competition. I thank Dr. Pauline ma'am for accepting our invite to be our judge. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your valuable time.
Thank
I
you, ma'am.
continue to thank Dr. P.C. Deshmukh sir, who wholeheartedly accepted, and despite of his busy schedule, he is available for this entire event. Thank you so much, sir. I thanks my team, Dr. Komla, for coordinating Kannada poetry event. I thank Dr. Anuradha for coordinating Hindi poetry event. I thank Professor Shubha for supporting me technically and emotionally and whenever I need it. Thank you so much, Shubha ma'am. And I would like to thank Professor Divya, who was so busy in her personal work, but she has made the time to be here for the entire day. Thank you so much, Professor Divya. It means a lot.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you for the vote of thanks.
My sincere thanks to Professor Anthony and Professor Revati for motivating me and supporting me always. Thanks a lot, ma'am. It means really a lot. A huge thanks to the pillars of these events, Satvik JR, Vaishnavi, Shrishti, and Stylish. Without you guys, this event would not be successful. Thank you so much for giving your dedication to conduct this event. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am, for giving us the
I would like to
opportunity.
extend my thanks to IT manager Mahadev Soni, who was always there for supporting us technically whenever we need him. Last and not the least, I would like to extend my wholeheartedly thanks to all the participants who have presented this poetry, and I can see a little poet in all of you. Thank you so much, and I'm so proud that you all are BTech students and so much you are interested in poetry. Thank you so much. Once again, thanks to one and all. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Participants, your participation certificates and the certificates for the winners will be emailed to you by the end of the day. Thank you so much for participating in this event. Without you, this event wouldn't have been successful. Thank you, Pauline ma'am, for joining us.
Thank you once again. It was a pleasure.
Yes.
Thank you.
So the event has come to an end. All the participants, you may leave the meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, dear.